Okay, see that sign?
Bonjour à tous et bienvenue sur la chaîne Olivier Gaming. Aujourd'hui on se retrouve sur Lost Judgment avec cet épisode 8. Et nous sommes toujours en quête de vérité. Et là nous sommes à la gare. Je ne sais plus comment elle s'appelle. J'ai du mal avec les gares les gares japonaises. Non, il choisit.
Ehara was lingering at the platform a while, huh?
Yeah, he walked past the ticket gate at 7:43 a.m. This was confirmed by the security tapes, as well as when he swiped his transit card.
On va enfin savoir ce qu'a fait Ehara exactement. Pour moi, ce qu'il a dans la main, c'est ce qu'on lui pique, puisque quand on l'arrête, il n'a plus le truc. Et la femme qui l'accuse, en fait, a récupéré son dossier. On va bien voir. Écubukuro. Eh ben, disons, c'est. On va dire Ike. Sa future victime monte dans le train pour Shinjuku.
She's the one in the pink cardigan and white skirt?
Yeah, Yui Mamiya, an office worker and mother of a 6-year-old boy. The two of them show up on the train's interior cam as well. According to the victim's statement, Ehara began by rubbing her posterior with the back of his hand. But it didn't stop there. After that, he put his hand up her skirt.
Pretty sickening.
I'm assuming he targeted someone shy, thinking she wouldn't resist. Makes me angry just thinking about it. The victim stated she was too scared to call
help, meaning
she endured this for 6 minutes until the train reached its stop in Shinjuku.
Can you send what you just showed me to my phone?
Sure. Now let's head to Shinjuku Station. Then we can watch as the jerk gets busted. Even if we did defend him in court, an asshole's still an asshole. Looks like we're getting close to Shinjuku.
The train's pretty light right now, but it was packed during the crime, right?
Oh yeah, the car occupancy at that time of day can easily reach 180%.
And Ehara should have been standing roughly where I am. Hey. Suspicious. What the?
On essaye de trouver des indices, c'est pas évident, hein. Ah, là. Une caméra installée dans les rames, elle n'empêche pas toujours les agresseurs, mais permet au moins de les identifier.
Ehara and Mamiya-san both exited the train and got onto the platform here. But right before that, Mamiya-san suddenly grabbed Ehara's wrist and yanked his hand out from under her skirt. That's when she got a good look at her assailant.
So without a doubt, she saw it was him.
Yes, and there were also traces of her garments on his hand during evidence analysis. Anyway, after being grabbed, Ehara wrenched himself free and took off at a sprint. See, here he gets off the train and bolts across the platform. And Mamiya-san chases after him, asking people around her for help.
Ah, this is what they kept looping on TV.
Yeah. And honestly, with all this evidentiary footage, defending him in court was a lost cause.
Was there any security footage that wasn't aired on TV?
Sure, take a look around you. There's more than just one camera pointed at us. They're practically everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
As for what I was saying earlier, Ehara was finally tackled right in front of those stairs. Oh right, I have a diagram of the platform to show you.
So Ehara gets off the train here, and then gets apprehended here. How far apart is that?
roughly 100 meters. Both he and the victim were weaving their way.
Pourquoi il n'est pas monté sur les deux autres escaliers?
The whole scene was very chaotic. Even after Ehara was caught, the train was stalled 20 minutes until the area was deemed safe.
Hey, you think we could get the positions of all these cameras and where they're pointing penciled in?
Good idea. Let's check each camera's position as we walk over to where Ehara was detained. That's where he got tackled, so if you could let me know whenever you see a camera. I can mock it up on our diagram here.
Suspicious. What the?
C'est dans l'autre sens alors?
Looks like we checked all the nearby cameras. Let's go up a little further now.
Suspicious. Hey.
Pas facile de trouver les caméras. Ah, peut-être celle-là, là. Non.
What the?
Ici, il n'y en a pas. Hey.
Looks like we checked all the nearby cameras. Let's move on.
D'accord, donc je dois refaire la même chose ici. Ah non, faut que j'aille là-bas. D'accord.
What the? Suspicious.
Ok.
Hey.
J'ai pas trouvé. Non, ça n'est pas une. Il en manque. Il en manque. Où c'est que tu es? Alors, marche, celle-là je l'ai faite.
Suspicious.
Okay, looks like we got all the cameras. Our diagram is now complete.
Ok.
Now we'll pencil in the camera locations and what directions they're pointing.
D'accord.
Hey. Suspicious. What the? What the?
So this was
Un
the
peu
general
bizarre.
situation when Ehara committed his crime. What do you think, Yagami-san? Anything of note?
Do you think Ehara and Mamiya-san were riding the train pretty frequently?
Oh yeah, Mamiya-san commuted by train. She was here every weekday. Same goes for Ehara, actually, but he was off that day. Supposedly he was going to see his wife, even though they're separated.
Did he ever say why he wandered around the platform for an hour?
He said the thought of his wife had him flustered and he couldn't force himself to board the train. He always had an excuse ready for anything you asked him, including the harassment charges. He pled not guilty, but the evidence said otherwise. There wasn't a single argument we could make in court to establish reasonable doubt.
Safe to say he did it. But on the same day, he knew his son's bully would be murdered in Ijincho. Pretty clear it wasn't a spontaneous need to grab some ass.
I agree. It's almost like all the commotion around the harassment might have been planned out. Maybe everything was, even down to getting captured.
Yeah. You really played everyone by turning harassment into an alibi for murder. No matter how much evidence points to him as a killer, he can deny it with complete immunity.
This is getting crazier by the minute.
At the very least, he had something to do with it. Some connection. But I can't imagine he'll talk. Whatever his plan is, it's pretty clear Ehara is committed.
To what? Getting revenge for his son?
I think so.
Who do you think his accomplices could be? Ehara's a veteran cop. Think maybe he knows how to hire an actual assassin? If so, he could have just paid for his revenge, right?
Sure. But assassins cost an arm and a leg. He wasn't rich before all this, was he?
No. He barely scraped up enough to cover his lawsuit against the school.
Thought so.
J'ai inspecté l'endroit où Mikoshiba a été tué, celui où Ehara a été arrêté. Je crois que j'ai fait le tour. Ah, téléphone. Qui est à l'appareil? Saori.
What's up, Sari-san?
Salut,
I'm
Saori.
scheduling an
Tu
interview
veux
with
qu'on
Ehara
aille
tomorrow
parler
at
à
the
Ehara
Tokyo
demain?
Detention Center.
Ah oui, je veux bien, oui.
From Genda's.
Sounds good. But I need to head back to Ijincho for now.
Something you
Okay.
forgot to do.
Yeah. It involves Ehara's motive, which would be without a doubt his son's suicide. So I want to confirm if Mikoshiba really bullied the kid. And the best person to ask happens...
All right, then I'll let you get to it.
Cool. Then I'll see you tomorrow.
À demain. Il n'y reste plus qu'à convaincre Madame Sawa de me parler de ce qui est arrivé au fils d'Ehara il y a 4 ans. Ok. Alors. Il y a un taxi pas loin. Je pense que je dois aller à l'école. Ah bah elle est encore effondrée, mais elle est toujours effondrée cette pauvre femme.
Got a minute?
No, not for you. I really have nothing more to say.
What if I told you it's looking more and more likely Ehara-san had a hand in Mikoshiba's death?
Well, it doesn't concern me.
Ehara-san believes Mikoshiba tormented Toshiro-kun so badly that he took his own life. But neither the third-party investigation nor the courts were on his side. So what's the truth here? You know, don't you? What really happened between Mikoshiba and Toshiro-kun? Why won't you tell me the truth?
Why do you keep asking? I said I don't know!
I'm going to the detention center tomorrow to get some answers out of Ehara-san.
What?
I saw where Mikoshiba was murdered. He endured no shortage of cruelty before he died. They tortured him, you know. They broke all his fingers before they slit his throat.
No.
On lui a cassé quelques dents aussi. Je sais que j'y vais fort, mais je suis sûr qu'elle est liée à cette affaire elle aussi. Elle a des informations dont j'ai besoin avant d'aller voir Ehara.
And somehow Ehara-san knew Mikoshiba would be killed on the day he got caught for groping. It's like he did it to prove he had nothing to do with the murder. But maybe that wasn't his real objective at all.
Huh?
I think he wanted to signal that he'd finally avenged his son.
The body belongs to a guy named Hiro Mikoshiba. 4 years ago, this man took my son from me by driving him to commit suicide.
If I'm gonna face him tomorrow, I can't go in without some ammunition. So, 4 years ago, did Mikoshiba bully Toshiro-kun or not? That's all I want to know.
My answer won't change. There's no evidence Mikoshiba-kun did anything wrong.
Are you sure about that? Take a look at this.
That's...
Toshiro Ehara, your student. Imagine that he's listening to what you're saying now. If you can look at him and say Mikoshiba played no part in his death, I'll leave you alone. In fact, you'll never hear a word from me again.
Ah bah non, ça serait pas juste.
So which is it?
4 years ago. Not long after I'd transferred here to teach English. That's when it started. I was trying my best to get acclimated, and I was finally on a first-name basis with everyone. One day, after school, I was out on the roof taking a break, when Toshiro-kun suddenly ran by. I called out to him to ask what was wrong, but he shushed me and kept running. I saw he had a bloody nose. Moments later, Mikoshiba-kun showed up. He was looking for him. I told him I hadn't seen him. Toshiro-kun's face told me everything I needed to know.
So Mikoshiba was bullying him after all.
Yes. Toshiro-kun told me this later on. Whenever he'd leave school with Mikoshiba-kun and his friends, they'd force him to hand over money. At first, they'd try to pass it off as a joke. They said since he lowered the class average on tests, he ought to buy them all drinks as an apology. And Mikoshiba-kun, he was having too much fun with it to stop. He started offering tutoring sessions to Toshiro-kun. Only so he and his crew could extract their tuition from him. They'd even break into his house while his mother was at work and take the money she left him for dinner. And if he couldn't pay, they'd beat him up at school or make him grovel in the bathroom.
Didn't anybody see what was really happening?
The teachers either saw nothing or turned a blind eye. Few students knew about it, though. Anyway, I ended up relaying everything Toshiro-kun had told me to those boys' homeroom teacher. Mind you, this teacher had tenure, title, and years of experience under his belt. Do you know what he told me? He said not to cause a commotion because those boys were about to graduate.
Why does that not surprise me?
To be honest, It was hard to paint such an outwardly model student in a negative light. There was also no hard evidence to support Toshiro-kun's story. But someone still should have stepped in to help. If only I'd understood that at the time.
You tried.
The only thing I tried was to keep an eye out for him. Making sure he wasn't alone, things like that. But unfortunately, that wasn't good enough. On the first morning of the 3rd trimester, Toshiro-kun tied a towel to his doorknob and hung himself in his room.
And that's when you confronted Mikoshiba, right? You asked him point blank if he'd bullied him.
I did.
Alors pourquoi n'a-t-elle jamais parlé à personne?
Mikoshiba-kun pretended to know nothing. He was more careful, shaken even, in all honesty. When I heard a third-party committee was investigating, I was hoping the truth. Students were asked to fill out an anonymous questionnaire, and many of them wrote down exactly what they saw.
Hold on. Didn't the court end up declaring there was no substantial evidence of bullying? How could they have said that with those questionnaires on hand?
First of all, the committee never interviewed anyone directly. Those questionnaires were the only proof of anything. And the teacher of those boys was the one who collected them. Each time he came across any mention of bullying, he'd toss that questionnaire out. Also, he wouldn't get blamed in the end for ignoring the warning signs.
So then the committee was pointless.
A few students did speak up about the bullying online, but their posts weren't much to go on. Toshiro-kun's parents were completely caught off guard. His mother worked through the day, and his father lived all the way in Tokyo. That made it that much easier for the teacher to cover up all the evidence of bullying. He made that statement without even consulting the principal or the chairman. So, right before Mikoshiba-kun graduated,
quel est le nom de ce professeur en question que je l'interroge,
there was
s'il vous plaît,
no
madame?
evidence of bullying. The conclusion you've heard over and over.
What the hell?
In Japan, 300 children commit suicide every year, across all grades. Less than 3% are proven to be linked to bullying. Toshiro-kun's case ended up like that too. But Ehara-san wasn't satisfied with those findings, so he sued Seiryo High, demanding compensation for Toshiro-kun's death. As the trial dragged on, I was eventually called to the witness stand. Of course, my intention was to let everything I knew out into the open. But before that could happen, that damn teacher came with the school's attorney to see how I would testify.
They didn't want you making them look bad, huh?
Of course not. That's when I first learned what he did with those incriminating questionnaires. They had no choice but to reveal everything to me, to try and sway me to their side. I guess they were just that desperate. After all, I was the only adult who Toshiro-kun confided in. I don't think he'd spoken to his parents about it once. So yes, that's why there was never any objective evidence of bullying. It wasn't like I had a mind to record our conversations. And I hadn't personally witnessed it either. The school attorney saw fit to remind me that the law says innocent until proven guilty. And if I couldn't produce tangible evidence, then I shouldn't be accusing Mikoshiba-kun.
So it was witness tampering? That is, they coerced you into false testimony?
Yes.
Must have been incredibly hard on you.
What I should have done was told the truth regardless. But what else could I have really done for him? Some days I just don't know. As much as I've tried to convince myself I did everything I could for him, I can never fully believe it.
So what happened to the teacher who covered all this up?
He transferred to another school. To think he's still standing at a podium somewhere.
That's unfortunate.
Even so, I don't have the right to place the blame solely on him.
Oui, c'est une bonne question également. À quel moment Ehara a-t-il découvert que Mikoshiba avait harcelé son fils? Si on s'en tient à ce qu'il a dit pendant le procès, difficile d'affirmer qu'il est vraiment capable de meurtre.
Maybe, but in that case, Mikoshiba's bullying of Toshiro, or those questionnaires getting discarded. Have you ever told anyone else?
No. I've been silent. Yagami-san, you know what? Back when I was a student in high school, I witnessed bullying firsthand. There was this kid. My classmates pushed him too far. And one day he just jumped off the roof.
Off the roof?
By some miracle, he survived the fall. And he's been in a coma for the last 13 years. Nobody knows if he'll ever wake up. His name is Mitsuru, and he may never open his eyes to the world again. His mom watches him, but she works full-time. She's a higher-up in the government.
I'm sorry to hear it.
The worst part is that his teacher knew. He even talked to the bullies about it. But all he said was, don't overdo it. But afterward, the public eviscerated him. He had to quit his teaching job. And yet, for poor Toshiro-kun, nobody was held responsible at all. And that includes me.
But if anyone was going to take responsibility for that, Mikoshiba should have been first in line. I'm sure Ehara-san must have thought the same thing.
You know what I wanted to be as a kid? I was so innocent, I wanted to be a teacher. And after Mitsuru-kun's tragedy, I felt practically obligated. And still, I just let history repeat itself.
Viens par là, je vais te faire un gros câlin, moi. Je crois que je commence à comprendre ce qui est arrivé. Il y a 4 ans, je suis prêt à interroger Ehara. Je devrais retourner me reposer un peu au Yokohama 99. Bon. Et les gars, c'est pas marrant, je vais pas pouvoir me battre aujourd'hui. Bon, j'ai bien rencontré mes petites crapules de lycéens, là. Alors, plus ceux du 2-2, mais plutôt ceux du 3e étage. Même pas. Personne. Qu'est-ce qui t'arrive, mec? Alors, autant vous le dire tout de suite, c'est vrai que vous ne le voyez pas dans les vidéos, mais le temps de chargement, parfois, est très très long. Alors, est-ce que j'aurai l'occasion de me battre aujourd'hui? J'ai pas l'impression, hein. Voilà, voilà. Je suis arrivé. Enfin, presque. Alors, je ne sais même plus où se trouve... Ah oui, c'est ici. Bon, je crois que si, je vais me battre aujourd'hui quand même. Ah non, ils se retournent. Regardez-moi ça, ils ont peur de moi. Oh les gars, je suis là. Oh. Ah. Oh ouais, ça nous manquait. Un peu d'action, que diable. Il en reste un? Ah oui.
And stay down.
Bon, j'ai gagné un peu de sous. J'ai vraiment un problème avec... Bon. J'arrive pas à me repérer, c'est fou. Oh! Non! Non, je déconne, les gars. Oh, des sous encore. Il faut que je traverse. Il faut que je traverse à nouveau. Non, c'est vraiment... Oh là là, mais c'est une calamité, mon... Je ne sais pas du tout où je dois aller, ça m'énerve. Hello to you. Alors, je suppose qu'il va me demander de... Ah, le chien. Qu'est-ce que tu veux? Ça ne va pas. Bah, t'as perdu ton maître, je suppose. Oh non, me dis pas qu'il faut que je retrouve son maître. Le quoi? Non, c'est une blague. Il fait un peu penser à Kyoko. Mais pourquoi est-ce qu'il traîne en ville? Il a un collier, ce n'est pas un chien errant?
Sure.
Ah ça fait partie du mystère. Ouais, c'est assez bizarre déjà l'histoire du chien. Il est très mal fait par contre.
Wait.
Oh non, pas d'histoire du chien, s'il vous plaît.
What?
Aïe 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 aïe.
Who's a good boy? Doing great.
Bon. Ben, on va suivre le chien détective. C'est pas beau ça. Hey, salut. Pardon.
Got something?
Il y a une histoire avec les téléphones détraqués là.
This way, huh?
C'était juste pour prendre la bouteille vide. T'es où, chien? T'es là. Parce que si je cours, il court. On ira peut-être plus vite comme ça. Parce que là, je sais pas. Pour l'instant, je sais pas du tout où c'est qui m'emmène. Hein.
Doing great.
Alors. Femme bienveillante. C'est le problème. Je sais pas comment on l'a contactée.
Excuse me.
Excusez-moi. Vous avez un problème. Et vous êtes Yagami, détective de Karamucho. C'est Kamurocho. Quel adorable petit chien.
What? I see.
Ah, quelle enveloppe? Une lettre? Prenez soin de Shuzuke, je vous en prie. Ah d'accord. C'est un bon garçon qui adore la glace à la banane, c'est la prunelle de mes yeux. J'aurais au moins aimé comprendre ce qu'il fait ici. L'abandonner comme ça, sans explication. Ce n'est pas très charitable. Tu t'appelles Shuzuke, c'est ça? Ta maman est partie depuis combien de temps? Environ 1 heure. Alors il y a des chances qu'elle soit encore dans les parages. Vous êtes détective, n'est-ce pas? Pourriez-vous retrouver sa mère? J'ai que ça à faire, franchement. J'ai une super mission principale et vous me mettez une mission de retrouver une mère. Je sais pas. Ok. Alors, est-ce que tu peux me dire son nom? Mikan. Shibuya Mikan. Eh oui. C'est ça. Allez, on y va.
I believe in you, buddy. This way, huh? Got something? Doing great.
Je pense qu'elle a des ennuis, on va peut-être se battre avant de partir. J'espère que la vidéo vous intéresse toujours. N'oubliez pas de vous abonner et de mettre un pouce bleu.
Doing great. Got something?
Allez, allez. Ah, on est au parking. Bon, oui. Yakuza aux cheveux bouclés. Bah, elle a pas envie d'y aller.
Excuse me.
Je suppose que vous devez une grosse somme d'argent et que cette ordure essaie de vous forcer à le rembourser avec un boulot sordide dans un bordel ou un truc du genre. Quoi? Ça arrive tout le temps. Kamurocho, là où je travaille. C'est quoi ton problème, connard? Si tu fourres le nez dans nos affaires, t'étonnes pas si tu finis 6 pieds sous terre. Oh, ça rime en plus. Si tu fourres le nez dans nos affaires, t'étonnes pas si tu finis 6 pieds sous terre.
Hey.
C'est superbe. C'est magnifique. Je sais que vous avez de l'argent, vous pouvez me dire combien et quel est le taux d'intérêt? Elle a emprunté 500 000 yens. Avec les intérêts, ça fait 9 millions. Tu penses pouvoir nous rembourser à sa place?
No way.
Bon, déjà, ce taux d'intérêt est ridiculement élevé. J'étais sûr que j'avais affaire à un usurier. Je m'en vais, et Mikan vient avec moi. Il faut que je vous mette KO avant ou pas. Va te faire foutre. Vous êtes que 4, les gars! Alors, va te faire foutre, elle est à moi. Je vais vous faire la peau à toi et à ton clébard. Bon, le débat, il n'est pas à moi. Mais, yakuza, ouais. La yakuza, tu vas avoir très très mal. Bon, un petit coup contre la bagnole, j'en suis. Oh, un bon petit coup. Et hop là. Oula. Oh, j'adore cette prise. Battre la yakuza, bah c'est fait. Ça n'a pas été très difficile, les gars. Merde.
Hey.
Tu sais que traiter les gens comme des possessions est illégal, n'est-ce pas? Quoi? Je suis avocat, je serais ravi de m'occuper gratuitement de cette affaire. Et si on allait en discuter dans mon bureau? Oh merde, fait chier. Bye bye. Alors c'est terminé? Comment en êtes-vous arrivé là, Mikan? Hein? Suzuki vous attend encore à l'orphelinat. Il pense que vous allez revenir le chercher. D'accord.
Other words.
Ouais, elle a paniqué.
No way.
C'est le mode opératoire des usuries, vous mettre la pression sur que vous craquiez. Et sans même vous en rendre compte, vous devenez leur esclave.
Excuse me.
Je connais une excellente avocate à Kamurocho qui serait ravie de vous aider. Vous voulez que je l'appelle? Oui, s'il vous plaît. Oh, on a fait une bonne action. C'est pas beau ça. Maman, tu es revenu. Excuse-moi, je suis désolé.
Who's a good boy?
Beau travail, bonhomme. Mais à quoi est-ce que tu joues, au juste? Toute la ville parle de toi, tu sais. Tu n'as pas de maison. Où est-ce que tu habites? Où est-ce que tu habites? Bon sang, si seulement tu pouvais me le dire. Alors, qui c'est qui m'appelle? Monsieur Yagami, j'ai un gros service à vous demander, je vous payerai s'il le faut. Retrouvez Rampo, je vous en prie. Rampo? Le vieil auteur de livres policiers? Oh, désolé, Rampo est le nom de notre chien, mais lui aussi, il adore les mystères. Parfois, il s'enfuit même de la maison pour mener l'enquête. Ah, on l'a trouvé déjà. Je vous envoie une photo. Ah, j'aurais dû m'en douter. Alors comme ça, tu es le chien de Kyoko.
Seriously?
Tu t'es enfui de chez toi pour te faire un nom, c'est ça? Kyoko! Hey Kyoko!
Yagami-san!
Oh là là, j'ai un peu peur qu'elle nous demande une enquête.
Nope.
Ah non, on se travaille pas le chien après. Hein.
It can't be.
Huh?
Yes.
Huh?
Aïe, 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 aïe. Mais où va-t-on nous mener dans ce jeu, je vous le dis, moi. J'ai pas besoin de chien, je peux résoudre les enquêtes sans chien. Enfin, celle juste avant, je l'aurais pas retrouvée, la femme.
Yes.
Does that mean...
What?
Hey.
Ah, oui, c'est mieux ça. Si on se recroise en ville, il peut m'aider, mais seulement si on se recroise. Allez, redonne la laisse. Ah bah non, il repart.
I'm sorry.
Pas sûr qu'il apparaisse, d'accord. Voilà, j'ai réussi une affaire secondaire, un nouveau partenaire. Eh ben écoutez, je crois que je dois retourner à Yokohama, donc on va se laisser là pour aujourd'hui. J'espère que la vidéo vous a plu. N'hésitez pas... Oh bon, suivi un petit combat, hein, peut-être avant de partir. Ah ben non, regardez, ils s'en vont. Ils ont peur. Eh les gars, je suis là. Venez. Venez. Hop, 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 hop. Oh. Oh. Ouais. Et voilà, terminé. On finit sur une belle victoire. Je vous dis à bientôt. N'oubliez pas le pouce bleu et de vous abonner.